Imagine being told that you're not equal, that your rights don't matter. This was the reality for African Americans in the segregated South during the 1950s. But on December 1st, 1955, in Montgomery, Alabama, one woman's brave decision sparked a movement that changed history. The Montgomery bus boycott was a powerful example of rights and responsibilities. African Americans fought for the right to equal treatment while taking responsibility for challenging an unjust system. Their protest against segregated buses was not just about transportation. It was about dignity, justice, and freedom. This movement showed that when people work together and take action, they can change the world. In Montgomery, African Americans were forced to sit at the back of city buses. If the front seats were full, they had to give up their seats to white passengers. They paid the same fare, but were treated as second-class citizens. This was not just about bus seats. This was about an entire system of racial injustice. But suddenly, one person decided enough was enough. On December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks got on a Montgomery City bus after a long day at work. She sat in the colored section. As the bus filled up, the driver ordered her to give up her seat to a white man, but Rosa refused. Rosa Parks later said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired, but that isn't true. I was not tired physically, or no more tired than I usually was at the end of a working day. I was tired of giving in." Her arrest record showed that she was charged with violating segregation laws, but her bravery inspired something bigger, a citywide protest. That night, activists and community leaders met to plan the response. They knew this was their responsibility.
Rosa Parks taking a stand for rights. The boycott began on December 1st, 1955, when Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a segregated bus. Parks' arrest became the spark that started the movement, according to her arrest record. She was charged for breaking segregation laws. Her actions showed that people have a responsibility to change unfair rules even when it's risky. Rosa Parks was not just tired, she was tired of injustice. She was involved in the civil rights movement before her arrest and knew that segregation was wrong. Her decision to resist was a way of claiming her right to be treated equally and inspiring others to do the same. The role of Montgomery Improvement Association. After Rosa Parks' arrest, civil rights leaders in Montgomery came together to form the Montgomery Improvement Association. To organize the boycott, according to MIA, founding meeting minutes. They planned strategies like organizing carpools, encouraging people to walk, and negotiating with cities and officials. The MIA's work showed the responsibility of leadership. Leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. helped guide the movement. But ordinary citizens also played a crucial role. People had to stay committed to the boycott even when it became difficult. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s leadership. Dr. King became the president of MIA and delivered speeches that encouraged people to stay strong. In his book, Strike Toward Freedom, he explained that the boycott was not just about buses, it was about justice, dignity, and equal rights.
He believed that people had responsibilities to use nonviolent resistance to make a change. King's leadership inspired people across the country. His speeches and action reminded Americans that rights are not just given, but they must be fought for. The Montgomery bus boycott became an example of how peaceful protests can lead a change. The role of women in boycott. While Dr. King Ann Robinson, a leader of Women's Political Council, WPC, helped spread the word about the boycott. In her book, The Montgomery Bus Boycott on the Women Who Started It, National Humanities Center, she described how women printed and distributed thousands of flyers overnight to encourage people to join the boycott. Women also took responsibilities by organizing carpool, fundraising, and community meetings. Their effort were essential to keeping the boycott strong. This shows that standing up to fight for their rights is not just a job for a few leaders. Everyone has a role to play. The challenge the challenges of the boycott. The boycott was not easy. Many black citizens in Montgomery depend on buses to get work. The challenges of the boycott. The boycott was not easy. Many black citizens in Montgomery depended on the buses to get work. Walking miles every day was exhausting, and some people lost their jobs because they refused to ride segregated buses and stuff. The city also tried to stop the movement by arresting leaders, threatening people, and even bombing Dr. King's house. Despite these challenges, the protesters remained committed. This demonstrated responsibilities and sacrifice. They understood that their struggles was not just for themselves, but for the future generations. They were willing to endure hardship to fight for their rights. The legal victory. After more than a year of protest, the boycott finally led to a legal victory. The Supreme Court ruled in Borda v. Gale in 1956 that the bus segregation was unconstitutional. This proved that standing up to rights can lead to real change. The boycott showed that when people take responsibilities for fight injustice, they can help create fairness. The Montgomery bus boycott was just the beginning. It inspired protesters such as sit-ins, freedom rights, and marches. The strategies and lessons from Montgomery were used to later movement, including the March on Washington and the fight for Civil Rights Act of 1964. Dr. King's Dr. King's leadership in Montgomery helped him become a national figure. His ideas about nonviolence, protests, and collective responsibilities became a key principle in the civil rights movement. The boycott showed that that change happens when people come together and take responsibilities for justice. The Montgomery bus boycott connects the theme of rights and responsibilities in many ways. It shows that people have the right to equality, but must also take responsibilities to fight for it. Rosa Parks and Mia and Dr. King, Joe Robinson, and thousands of ordinary citizens all played a role in making history. This encouraged and sacrifice helped end segregation in buses and inspire future civil rights victories. The boycott is a reminder that all changes is possible when people work together. It teaches us that standing up for what's right may be difficult, but it's necessary. The action of those who participated in the boycott continues to inspire people today to fight for injustice and equality.